How was your date? Like, this is your first post-COVID date.
Yeah, I'm just trying to meet some people, and it went horribly. It was awful. It was one of the worst experiences I've ever had, honestly. Like we go to Cafe Rio.
Wow.
Everything's cool, and I'm like, okay, well, I guess, this is just going to be one of those things where this is somebody I've never met who isn't really interested in having a conversation about anything else other than how much she's suffering and life sucks and the world's ending, and I paid for dinner. So, kind of standard operating procedure. So, it just is what it is.
Okay, so here's my question.
Yeah.
If this girl had no interest in hanging out with you, right? Like, didn't want to talk to you, nothing. What led up to you going there in the first place? Did you just completely misread the situation? What happened?
I don't know, man. I mean, it's this whole situation where, and this is what I've always talked about when we've talked about dating during the pandemic or why it's so difficult or like any of that stuff. Like, the reason it's so difficult is because people my age just don't know how to sit down at a table and have a conversation. They don't know how to socialize or anything unless it's on a phone, unless it's like, texting or whatever. And so I'm the guy who's sitting here trying to, have any semblance of friends. I have one friend here. Other than that, I don't have any friends.
Oh.
So I'm trying to make some friends, and whatever happens, happens. And this just went like awful. I mean, this was like, all we talked about was how she was struggling with work and struggling with school and struggling with this and struggling with that. And it's like, dude, like, I get it. Like, your life is horrible and everything, the world's ending. Like, maybe we could talk about something other than...
But did you say that to her?
No, because... And you guys, you both are like, oh, we should have said that to her. Okay, let's play that out. Okay, hey, let's talk about something else other than, what you got going on. How is she going to take that? Like, how is that supposed to go down?
I think what you say is, hey, I understand you had a rough day. And I know things are not going as well as you would like, but hey, this is the first time we've ever met. Why don't we leave our tough days behind? Because you didn't have a great day Friday either, right? You were a little frustrated.
Mm-hmm.
So what I would have said is, hey, why don't we leave all that behind and let's just get to know each other?
Yeah, it doesn't work that way.
Well, it does. What do you mean it doesn't?
You have no idea how it works in today's dating. Like, it doesn't work that way. It doesn't. You can't say to somebody, hey, let's leave all that behind, because then it's instantly an attack, and everybody they're like they get offended and they get defensive, and that's not how it works. People my age can't have that conversation. I'm telling you, it just doesn't work that way.
I don't know. I guess we'll just agree to disagree on this. I mean, so you put this 100% on her. Like, this is her fault. Like,
yeah, dude, I showed up. I was good to go. I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'm just going to, I worked a half day Friday. I'm just going to let work go. Like, whatever. It is what it is. I'll take another run at it next week. Like,
yep.
It's just whatever. And I was kind of looking forward to just, like, having a nice conversation, eating my food, like, talking to somebody that I've never talked to before, like maybe, doing whatever. And it just doesn't work that way, and it's like, I don't know, man. It's difficult. It's not easy. And it does not incentivize me to, what it tells me is that I need to, if I am going to make the effort and I am going to try and like meet somebody, like it makes it so that I have to ask a ton of questions on the front end and like make absolute sure that like, they actually want to be there, because it just wasn't good.
So you're saying you felt like she had no desire to even be there. Like,
I'm not saying she didn't have desire to be there. What I'm saying is that she wasn't. There's a difference between having, desire to be there and being excited and just kind of showing up just to go through the motions.
What are the chances she was just like nervous to be there? Like, what?
I don't know. It could be that. I don't know. If it's any consolation, I texted her and haven't heard back. So,
wow.
So I think that's
so she just put you to bed, bro.
Yeah, bro. Like
So what did you say to her in the text message?
I just said, hey, like I would love to, see you again, or like try again. I feel like it was Friday and we were both, tired or whatever. We were just kind of.
Wow.
Not at our best, and it is what that's what I'm saying, dude. Like your generation makes it seem like it's so easy, and it's not easy. It's not something where you can just like it's not an easy process.
Giggity Dog says, "Good morning, guys. Jake, you got to be the light in that girl's dark world."
Yeah, well, the problem is I'm not going out and working my ass off on the first date. That ain't happening. Like,
wow.
See,
like that to me is a problem.
I'm not gonna work super hard on the first date to incentivize somebody to have a conversation. Like, you have to meet me halfway. Like, you can't. I should not have to pull teeth to get somebody to talk about something else other than how their life is suffering. You know, like
Marcus said maybe she just had a bad day and you being a jerk didn't help.
I wasn't being a jerk, though.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you were so what was the conversation?
The conversation was, hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Great, let's get our food and sit down. And I just said, so, like, what's going on? Like, how are you? Like, how's things? And she just kind of started going on about how, you know, like, she's super stressed out with work and life and, like, you know, everything is kind of crazy for her right now. And so I thanked her for giving me time. You know, I said, yeah, I get it. I totally understand that life is super busy and I appreciate you giving me time. And I started asking her questions about how, like, you know, like, what does her work involve and, like, what makes it so stressful? And, like, so we just started talking about it and one thing leads to another and we wind up talking about it for like 2 hours. You know, we wind up sitting there for a long time just talking about that. And instead of like doing anything or like having, you know, any kind of like meaningful conversation, you know, it's just like I felt like it was more of a, hey, like, you know, we're having a meeting, like a meeting about your life. That's what I felt like. I didn't feel like it was a.
So did she ask you any questions about?
I mean, not really. Like, kind of at the end, like, she was like, so what do you do? Like, you know, what, you know, so I kind of, like, I told her what I did, but it wasn't, you know, it just.
You were just along for the pain train
like,
ride,
I wasn't
man.
even being a jerk. Like, I wasn't. Like, but I honestly, like, I truly feel like it's not fair that I should have to, you know, like make somebody, like, be genuinely, like, about it, you know, like if it and that's what it's kind of frustrating because it's like, dude, like, you know, I'm taking you to dinner, I'm giving you my time, like I'm trying to work through this frustration stuff, and it's like it just doesn't happen.
Will says the funny thing is this isn't about coronavirus dating. This is about Mormon girl dating. Jake, find yourself a good Catholic chick.
That's quite enough.
I don't think this is how all Mormon. Is this girl Mormon? First of all,
I mean, her family's Mormon, and she did go to church, but she's not right now. She's not like a hardcore in the church every.
So she's not. Yeah. So she's not like a law-abiding Mormon.
No.
Gotcha.
No.
So she is Mormon.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I mean,
at the end of the day,
right?
she is. But like, she's not that person that is like, you know, devout in the church every single week, following every single rule. That's not, you know.
So you basically broke some of your own personal rules to go and have dinner with this girl, and now you're like, no, I'm never doing that again.
Yeah, and it's like now you've ruined it because now I'm in a place where it's like not only do I have to deal with the pandemic, now I got to deal with trying to figure out if they're legit or not. Like, and that's why I say, like, it's not the times of, hey, go to the bar or go here or go there and meet somebody are over. That's over, dude.
Yeah, no doubt.
It's over.
Well, I think it's really interesting that I agree. I don't think this is a coronavirus thing. I think this is just, I think that's probably how this girl would have been no matter what.
Yeah, and
right?
and what it is I have to lower my expectations and just go on like 50 dates until I find somebody. That's what it is.
And you're not that guy. Like, you're not, that's not who you've ever been. Like, you're not the guy that's just going to go in.
No.
You know, you're not looking to waste your time and money.
Nope.
You tend to, and I think it's a good thing. You tend to really value your time, versus, you know, hey, I'm just going to go spread some bread and, you know, enjoy meeting people. That's never who you've been. Giggity has a question. Is Jake chasing Jack Mormons?
That's a reference to last week when I pissed the world off when I said Jack Mormons.
We did get some hate for that, by the way.
Am I chasing Jack Mormons? Yes and no. Like, am I looking to date a Mormon chick? No, I'm not. I'm not interested in dating someone who's in the church every Sunday. I'm not. Am I?
Well, because you're not LDS, though.
Yeah.
You're not you're not the guy that's going to convert.
No, it's not happening. It's not happening. On the flip side of that, does that then mean that I'm, you know, constantly looking for someone who who is not Mormon, well, yeah, I mean, that's nice. Am I willing
But
to
you
make...
don't really quantify it that way. You're
Yeah.
looking for a good human.
Yeah, like, I'm trying to find, like, the thing is I have my limits in terms of the Mormon thing. So,
Right,
like,
right,
if someone
right.
if someone is Mormon, but they're, again, Jack Mormon, as we like to say, like, they believe, they lightly follow the religion or whatever, but they're not, like, hardcore in it every single day. Like, I can kind of get down with that, but I tell people straight up, I'll tell people in the chat, if it says on their profile that they're LDS and it looks like they're LDS based on, like, their pictures, and they have that, everybody knows what I'm talking about. Like, if they have that look, I tell them, I'm like, hey, like, just so you know, like, I just want to get it out there up front. I'm not LDS. I'm not converting, and it's not, like, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And if that's a problem, I get it, but I just want to tell you now so we don't waste your time.
Well, and I think the other thing that's so interesting is even when we lived in Arizona, you were a Mormon chick magnet. Like, I don't know why or how.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. It's not. I don't know what it is. I don't make an effort to be.
Yeah.
I don't try to be. I don't like. I don't know what I do.
Okay,
idea.
so then where does the dating train go from here? Like, are you, because you're on Hinge, right?
Yeah.
So you're using Hinge to date. Will you continue to?
Yeah,
Because you sitting here right now, you don't often seem pissed off. You
It's
seem
just
pissed off right
frustrating.
now.
It's frustrating because I could have not gone and seen her. I could have had a nice night on my own, just chilling. And instead, what did I do? I spent my $35 on me and her. I spent my time on me and her, and now I'm not going to get that back. And that's the most frustrating part about it. And I'm
But
happy.
is it the $35 or is it the principal?
It's the principle of it, but the 35. I'm happy to invest money in somebody who is going to be there, But I'm not happy to invest money and it's the worst case scenario for dudes. Like, hey, like I'm gonna and the other side of this conversation too is I had to chase her for 2 weeks just to get the thing. I had to chase her and have conversation after conversation, and we had to FaceTime like 4 times, and like it's like, dude, like do you want to go or not? And so I'm left in this position where it's like, okay, well, you're making this too much like a business transaction. Like, you need to chill out and just go on the date. And so I go on the date and I go against everything that like I would normally do.
Yeah.
And that's what happens. And so that's why I say, like, it's not that I'm so upset with her. It's frustrating with the situation because it shouldn't have to be that difficult.
What would you, not to belabor this point, but what would you normally do? Because I don't know
I
that
would
there
have
is
gone.
a normally
I wouldn't have
time.
gone. I would not have gone. I would have been frankly an asshole about it. I would not have gone because she made me wait 2.5, 3 weeks just to get something done. When realistically the normal timeline is, hey, like, you'll match on any given day. It's usually about a week after that. If you talk for a few days, you FaceTime once, and it's like, okay, do you want to go or do you want to be done? And then if you decide to go, then usually it's that weekend or whatever, that next first opportunity that you would get, which is usually a Friday or a Saturday,
Right.
that you would go. And so in this case, it was like, all right, well, we're going to FaceTime, we're going to do all this stuff. And then it ended up being like 2.5, 3 weeks before I even get the opportunity to meet her. And then I meet you, and you show up, and you're like just in this shitty ass mood, and it's like, okay,
That's frustrating.
Like, it's like, okay, well, cool. Like, I hope you enjoyed your time. Like, I'm, like, great. That's the difficult part about it, because it's this thing where I know it's not cool to make everything about money, but when it's like that, it is about the money, and it's not that I stress over $35, but I'd rather have spent the $35 on me.
Freddie says this girl probably had Mormon guilt. She knew she shouldn't have been sitting there with a heathen like Jake.
Yeah, that might have been what it would have been.
I love that.
You know?
That's funny. That's funny.
I guess not.
Yeah, he points out that he was kidding. But I think that it is a challenge with coronavirus, and I think this situation is a coronavirus situation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think she was probably nervous. I think you probably would have gotten a different experience on Saturday night instead of Friday night. Like, and you violated some of your own rules, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, so, and this is like, in your last relationship, you did the same thing, So I maintain.
But it's like, but here's the thing: if I don't do that, then I don't meet people. I meet very few people because I'm looking for something specific, which is like, hey, you got to have your life together. Hey, you got to have a good perspective on life, which is, hey, every day can't be the world is ending and life sucks, and I'm
you got to respect the grind,
and I'm in debt, and it's like, dude, like, I said something to you over the weekend that I think is very, very true for people who are in my position at my age, which is I don't have respect for the complaints of somebody who chose to be in college debt. I don't have respect for that because I didn't go to college. I chose to go the tougher route, and I'm coming out the other side in a better situation. So when I hear somebody constantly complaining about, oh, well, school is so hard, and one of the things that annoyed me the most when it basically came to an end when she was like, oh my God, like school is so hard, like I have such a heavy class load this year, and I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, like, you signed up for that. Like, they didn't just auto assign you 15 credits for the semester or whatever it is, you signed up for those classes. Like, how are you now going to say that it's so difficult and everything sucks? Like, so that's where I'm just like, dude, like you just don't have a handle on it. You're not.
Well, and I think there's some personal responsibility in that. Like you made this bed, now you gotta lie in it.
And so
like you made this choice to go to college.
And I would have loved to have said that to her, but I didn't want to be an asshole about it. I didn't want to be like, like I didn't want to be calling her out on a first meet, on a first date or whatever. Like,
yeah, Gabe Ledley makes a great point. Having to start with compromise ain't the way to go, young Jacob.
That's what I'm saying, Gabe. True. That's what I'm saying. And so my point here is that it puts me in a position where now I have to be like, okay, well, what is she? What do I know about her? What is she about?
I just would never lower your standards ever. Like, there is a plan. We were talking about it over the weekend. Timing is not accidental in this world, in my opinion. I'm a big believer that everything happens in its own time, on time, every time.
Mm-hmm. And the funny thing is I don't have any trouble getting like 10 conversations going. I'm talking to like 10 people, legit. Like, it's not hard to get people to text. It's hard to get people to actually like show up. You know? That's the hard part.
Okay, so wait. And I know we're a sports show, but we're into this, so we're going to
sport?
No, this is, well, I mean, it's hunting, but
We're only here for one reason.
You know what I'm saying? Here's my question.
Yeah.
What is it that is attracting you to people to message them? So you see them on Hinge. Is it photo? Is it info?
It's
what
photo
is it?
to like their profile. It's photo for the most part. I mean, some people, not all profiles are created equal, So I mean,
Absolutely.
when someone has something cool on their thing,
But don't they have to put effort into building a
you
good profile?
have pictures, and then basically most Hinge and all the other apps, like basically it's pictures, and then they allow you to say like there's like a couple of different things, text boxes you can fill out. So like as an example, it'll say like one of them I see all the time is you should not date me if, and then you fill in the rest.
What does yours say? You should not date me if.
No, it's like I don't know.
You should not date me if you don't like Steph Curry and the San Francisco Giants.
Dude, I don't know. Let me see here.
Like that to me. That's very important information. I'm a guy who thinks you have to dig a little deeper than pictures. And
mine is like I'm looking for, like the thing says I'm looking for, and then I said something more serious. And I put going to Maui in November, don't make me go alone is like kind of a joke, kind of like an icebreaker. So, and then the second one is like hallmark of a good relationship is trust and communication. So
you're playing to the middle of the field.
Yeah, like there's nothing extreme on my profile. And like my pictures there's 5 of me, and then I have 1 of my car. Just like, because most people, what they do is they're going to do like 3 or 4 of them, and then they're going to work in like their dog or like whatever, like some lifestyle stuff. So I try to play the middle. I try to have like a pretty open and flexible profile that would be like, just kind of open to the masses.
Gabe Ledley is wide awake today.
Okay, yeah.
Jake's married to the grind anyway. Why are you out there trying to cheat,
That's
bro?
what I'm saying. Let's make the money, build the Subi, get out of Yelp. Like, that's what I'm saying, bro. Like, this is what I've been saying for years, dude. Like, that's my struggle. I love that he said that because at the end of the day, and this is... like I don't mind getting called an asshole about this because I'm happy with it. Like I'm truly in that spot where it's like, dude, like I don't need to add anything to my life out like in terms of drama and all that. Like
you make really good money.
And it's sad, dude. Like I'm not one of those people that's like desperate to like constantly be with somebody.
But see, and this is probably where I'm a terrible influence on you. I think every day you don't tell somebody, hey, I love you, or every night that you don't kiss somebody goodnight, or every morning that you wake up and you're not happy to wake up, or you don't feel fortunate to wake up next to somebody, is a morning that you've given away.
I mean, on some level, yeah, but like, I think it's just really difficult. And the other side of this conversation is that we haven't touched on is filtering like the age of person that I see, right? So my
Jeez.
filter.
Do we have time for how important age is in your life?
We probably don't, but like while we're talking about, because we don't talk about this a lot, like I have it filtered up to like 29, like 29, 30.
You cannot date somebody who's your own age
Yeah,
because you will not. That will not happen. That will not end well.
Yeah. So like, I basically have it filtered from 27 to 30.
Right.
And I'm getting put in a position where I'm probably going to have to bump that up like 31, 32 tops. Like I probably wouldn't go much
You're
past
27.
that. Yeah. So like
Yeah.
I have it filtered lowest is 27 and highest is 30,
So essentially, you're willing to date somebody who was 5 years old when you were born. Mm-hmm. I'm good with that. I mean, I think for you, the issue is you play way up in age because I think this is part of being an only child, by the way. I think you're incredibly independent. I think you enjoy sleeping in a California king size bed alone. Right?
This morning?
I mean, yeah. Well, and this morning, what happened this morning?
Dude, okay, really quick. So I got this Apple Watch, right? And when you set an alarm on your iPhone, you have an Apple Watch. Your Apple Watch will vibrate on your wrist when the alarm's going off.
Yes.
Yeah, I slept straight through that. Like the dream train
So
was
your
rolling.
phone's not going off.
No, the Apple Watch goes off.
You have to.
I have to figure that out.
Yeah, both of mine go off.
I need my phone to go off.
Yeah.
The vibrating on my wrist is not nearly enough.
Yeah, because it's not natural to get up. Like today, I woke up at 4:15. It's not natural to get up at 4:15.
No.
It's not. Unless you're an idiot like me and your house is being renovated, so you have to walk all the way down to your basement from the third floor to take a leak. But anyway, the point is, I think the age thing is a critical factor for you. So
Yeah.
I think you
It's a
have
big
to
hurdle.
date somebody that's older because you do not settle for immaturity.
Mm-hmm.
You crave the stability you've created in your life.
Yeah.
And somebody that's in student loan debt or somebody who's still in school is not going to quench your thirst.
And it's only going to get worse as the years progress. Like,
It's true.
It's only going to get worse because, like,
But here's the other problem, and we're 25 minutes into this now. Here's the other problem.
Yeah.
You're 27. You're not 17 anymore.
Mm-hmm.
So if you wait 5 years to have a kid, think about it this way. And
Yeah,
this
I know.
This was a major advantage for me. For those of you who don't know, Jake's my son, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 48. He's 27. Yo, man, I was out. Like I was pounding like a porn star when I was 19, 20 years old, and it worked out perfectly.
Yeah.
And for me, the thing that I never wanted was I never wanted to have a child when I was 50. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want I don't want to have a student loan debt when I'm 70.
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm 48, my wife is 48, we're the same age.
Right.
We live alone.
Mm-hmm.
We have really nice things. We have a really good life. You are, independent. You are, financially, you are as secure as anybody your age can be. Like you're set up, you're great. Like you're very low maintenance. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And it's because I think you were an only child. You were the son of young parents at the time. Mm-hmm. I think that's why it's worked out so well.
Yeah.
So for you, it would make me nervous. I would be hesitant to be popping out kids when you're 45.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, so here's the challenge though. Like, how do you find somebody who you're good with, that you're ready to go with in terms of like spending the rest of your life with and having kids and all that, and also pursue what you're doing, because what we're doing takes a lot of time. And so that's why I say, like, when I talk about dating, the challenge is not just the people, it's the setup, it's the time, it's finding somebody. And that's why a big part of me, almost every time that I talk to somebody, like, even if it's new, even if it's just messaging on the app, there are so many times when I think to myself, like, dude, like, just like have zero expectations, don't put a ton of effort in, like, just talk to them and just kind of, just feel it out and just play it slow, because at the end of the day, one of two things is going to happen here. Either someone's going to show up, in the next, probably, I would say, 12 months from today, someone will show up in that period in my life, or I'm just going to have to, like, just kind of wait until everything is set up, because I don't feel like the odds of finding somebody worthy or like ready to go or like wanting this level of seriousness on Hinge is probably tough, So I don't know where I would.
So
find
do you
that.
view Hinge as a hookup app then?
No, I don't view it as a hookup, but what I am saying is that like I'm not on Hinge just to be like, oh well, I want to find my next fling, I'm committed to finding that person, the right person, and I'm happy to go on dates, but I think for me, I just have to do a better job of like deciding who I actually go and see and who I don't.
Yes.
And
yes.
Unfortunately, what that means is that I'm not even trying to exaggerate here. Like I literally think it's like probably, I'm probably only going to see one out of every 6 or 7 conversations I have.
Barry says, be patient. My son is in the exact same situation as you are. He is a budding entrepreneur, and most women don't want to hear that.
Yeah, and which is
that true,
what
though?
is fascinating to
Is
me
that
about
true,
that. That's
though?
a great point, Barry. Like, I think that it's not necessarily that they like. That's a simple way to say it. Hey, they don't want to hear it. I totally agree with Barry, but I think the better way to say it would be they don't understand it. They can't say, okay, this dude is not following the traditional path of like college, get married, pop out 3 kids, and just kind of work your 9 to 5 the rest
Is
of your life.
that different nowadays?
It really is because a lot of people don't understand. Like I tell people all the time, like one of the things I've really worked on is like setting the expectation up front that I'm a busy person.
Yes.
Right. So like I'll tell people, hey, like I have my 9 to 5, but I also have like 2 other things I'm working on. So my availability is like Friday and Saturday night, and I can make things happen on, Saturday day, but it would have to be, like a legit thing. I'm not just going to spend a whole day with somebody. That's not going to happen. And people can't wrap their head around the idea that, like, what does life look like if I don't have my job? Like, that's what they say to themselves instead of saying, what does life look like if I was able to build something and not need the job? They just can't, like, in the moment you start talking about like money and building wealth and like it's just like this foreign concept. So I agree when Barry says, hey, like they don't want to hear it, but it's more like they just don't understand it. And I feel like it turns people off on some level when you're like, yeah, like I do really well at Yelp, like, I'm totally fine, but I don't want to work at Yelp the rest of my life. Like I don't have any aspiration to do that. And they're like, well, why? I mean, it's a great job. Like, you're making amazing money. It's like, because I want my time back. I want to be able to do whatever I want. And a lot of people just really, really struggle with that concept. They just can't understand it.
That's fascinating to me. And I think that's part of the age thing because I think most people my age, people I work with who are my age, by the way, we all talk about, hey, our startups, our side hustle. Like, I think people your age are like, how do you stay at Yelp? I think people my age are like, how do we get out of Yelp?
Yeah, and I'll be honest with you,
that's a huge difference.
There are I've had a few people from Yelp approach me about dating since we moved to Salt Lake. And I've been like, yeah, like I would date you, but like I'm in Salt Lake. like so I mean, like yeah, I guess we could do the whole like, talk and like, but it would like I've told people like I'm not just gonna, jump on a plane and come down for a weekend, for no good reason. Like that's just not going to happen. And then there's the whole dynamic of like the work thing, and so it's just that's why I say like there's a lot of limitations on it.
Cal says, Jake, you just have to be patient. Take it from somebody who's been there and done that. It's going to fall on you like a ton of bricks one day, and you'll never look back.
And that's what my feeling is. I really feel like that if I just like I'm not saying I'm going to stop talking to people. But I really feel like if I just kind of do it kind of low key and just, just sort of like try to have fun with it and not have any expectations.
You have to have fun with it.
Like that, like it's the only position you can be in, I feel like. That's the only option.
All right. Gabe says, Little Lope will be 15 when I'm 50. Wouldn't change it for the world, but also wouldn't push it out much further than that either. Yep, totally agree.
Yeah.
Sean says, online dating is not the best because most of the people on any dating site aren't telling you who they really are. They lie on their bio to make themselves look good. Have you experienced that?
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah.
Switcher Okay, you're going to be switcheroony because I don't know how to pronounce that.
Who the f*** is that guy?
Yeah,
Switches.
Switches like I found my wife on Match last year. You should try it out. But have you ever tried Match.com?
I have, but not as much as Hinge. Like
Yeah.
I did at one point, but I haven't. Not
Is
not
Hinge
extensively.
free? Like, do you have to subscribe? Like,
They give you an option, so like you can pay like $20 a month, and you'll get access to like more people and like. But I just have the free one where you just you like what happens is when you have the free one and you're on for long enough, you start seeing the same people.
Yes.
So then you have to change your filter and like you kind of have to get crafty with it, or you can pay $20 a month and then it kind of just opens things up for you. So
Yeah.
All
right. Well, if you want to date Jake, find him on Instagram or Twitter. SLC Supercars.
I'm taking referrals.
SLC Supercars on Twitter and Instagram.